I always look so disheveled on these videos, but it's just because I effectively live in linen where I am. So last week I spoke about Allure Eau de Parfum from Chanel, and that is really quite a fruity floral, sort of ambery floral fragrance. It's very fluffy, very comforting. It definitely leans a little bit vintage, so it's not for everybody, but I just find it so comforting. And I guess that's partly nostalgic as well, because a lot of people used to wear that when I was a child. A lot of the women that I was in the presence of on a regular basis tended to wear Allure. So for the past few days, I have been wearing Allure Sensuelle, and I have absolutely been loving it. This perfume I didn't really love all that much when I first started smelling it in the stores, and I think the patchouli for me was probably just a little bit too much at the time. But last year when we were traveling, I happened to spritz a little bit of this on in an airport. And I think the reason was, at the time, I thought this had been discontinued. And when I saw it in the duty free of a really tiny European airport, I thought, oh, I might just spritz a bit of that on and see, if my opinion is still the same. And it was not. I thoroughly enjoyed wearing it. And what I'd never really paid attention to before was the dry down of this, because I'd always sort of been a bit put off by the patchouli, and to be fair, even smelling it out of the atomizer now, I find the patchouli in here to be quite scratchy, quite sharp, very similar to the patchouli that's in Coco Noir, and that can definitely give me a headache, hence why I've never really gravitated towards this. But when this dried down on my skin while I was wearing it in that airport, I absolutely fell in love with it. I didn't buy it that day, but when I came home, I picked up a bottle secondhand. So as I said, this has got a lot more patchouli up front. In fact, I don't think the original even has patchouli in it, or if it does, it's not a prominent note. This definitely still has that fluffy, fruity floral aspect that the original Allure has, but the floral element also has the addition of, or a little bit more, rose in it. So I definitely am getting more of a darker feel to this perfume, and the overall effect is that it dries down much more woody and earthy, which I much prefer, even though I really love the original Allure. But this one I can definitely see myself wearing on a more regular basis. So if you liked the original Allure, but you're looking for something a little bit darker, a little bit more woody, perhaps a little bit more earthy, a little bit more nighttime and more formal feeling, then this one is the one you want to go for.